Hey up there. It is Wednesday, the 18th of March. Um, yes, Barnsley drew 1-1 with Wigan last night, and we were shit. And that's pretty much all I'm going to say about that. 12 months ago to the day, I was finally deemed medically fit enough to be moved from a ward, a normal ward, down to the Acorn suite, which is the recovery ward, rehab ward, should I say, sorry, Ward 12. I was I was placed in a 6-bed room, and the only way I can describe it is it was like one flew over the cuckoo's nest. I was the youngest person in there. It had been mooted that I was going to go to a nursing home for my rehab. But because I still needed regular dressing changes on my back, because I was the youngest by, bearing in mind I was 54 at the time. I was a good 20 years younger than the youngest person in there. But everybody else in there were all much older than me, as I might have said just now a couple of times. Everyone else was much older than me, and there was quite a lot of dementia knocking about on the ward. So yeah, it wasn't fun. They were all right. I could talk to a couple of them, but there were a guy bed next to me that were absolutely adamant that someone were coming to get him, and he were going to get cops, and he were going to get shot, and blah blah blah. He kept trying to get out of bed, which he weren't supposed to do. So, well, yeah, it were interesting to say the least, and yeah. Excuse me. I were in there for, I'm trying to think now, 2 nights, and on the third day of being in there, I actually asked one of the nurses if there's any chance that a room on its own becomes available. Please, can I be considered to move into it? Which they did eventually do about 4 hours later, if that. Shifted me into my own room on the third day. Apparently, when they were fetching me down to the Acorn, they were going to put me in a room on my own, but there were a woman coming before me, and there wasn't a space on another ward, or in another room, should I say, for her, so they put her in there. But yeah, I got moved and I got put in a room on my own. Whilst I was in bed 23 in the 6th berth room, I had a little delivery. I had a card, which you can see here, from Rad, and this is what it said inside. As well as the card, he sent me this, which I've shown you previously, which I managed to put most of it together that day. It took a while. It was like a chimp trying to work out how to use a twig as a tool. But we got there. And it now lives in my studio alongside my Lego one. So that's nice. I'm not entirely sure what else to tell you about today. Chili con carne for tea, which I might go and see if I can make a crack at myself. At some point this week, I'm going to make a biscuit gel. It's an old recipe from my Auntie Sheila. We used to have it when we used to go and visit them in London. Way back when. We're talking like 49, 50 years ago. And I love it. I absolutely love it. It's the simplest thing in the world to make. It sounds odd. If you describe folks what it is, it sounds revolting. It's basically digestive biscuit base, and then you mix jelly with evaporated milk. Bit cheesecakey, I suppose, but I'm not a fan of cheesecake, but I love biscuit gel. So we'll be making one of them at some point this week. But yeah, there we have it. Can't think of anything else to tell you. Really, it's a bright and sunny day here. It's not that. Excuse me. God blimey. It's not that cold either. It's quite nice, and you get out in actual sunshine. It's quite clement. But I'm going to have to stop. I've got an overwhelming urge to belch. Just a sec. There we go, that's better. Sorry about that. Yeah, so there we go. Wednesday, 18th of March 2026. And I will be back tomorrow. This one into length as it were yesterday. I just rambled and waffled yesterday. But yeah, there we are. I'll see you tomorrow. TTFN.